Hello everybody, this is Starman, and welcome back to Let's Play Betrayal of Krondor. Well, last time you remember, we had just won free of the cells and the dungeons of Sar Sargoth, and we are currently in the upper level of the dungeon. We just beat the ambush that was waiting for us at the top of the stairs. And I'm guessing that whatever path we need to take, we probably need the key to the Inn Director key that we found to guide the way. Let's see if we can take out the whole group of them with one spell. Yes, we can. And got another riddle chest here. This marvelous thing, though it sounds absurd, contains all our letters, but is only a word. Easy. Alphabet. Okay, so only that ambush and treasure. And okay, ran a bit too quickly that time. Thankfully, they don't seem to have bothered attacking the spellcaster first. Yeah, you can see that the enemies are getting gradually tougher, that they have poisoned arrows and other bits of loot. Potions that increase their fighting ability. And, well, we can probably take whatever's in here. Yeah, even without the magic, we're still able to take on a fairly good-sized group of enemies. And we're full up on rations, amazingly enough. Still, we'll definitely want to rest up after that last fight. Okay, we did surprise them. And oh look, a whole bunch of ogres. I know who we're targeting first. Alright, so looks like we've got another chest here. And only a shovel. It looks like there's some human rogue corpses that were left in this room. And voila, the way out. Goraf looked up the narrow stairwell. It was definitely a way up, but he questioned whether it was the right way or for them to be going at the moment. What do you think, Owen? He asked, without climbing all that way back up. Yes. They weren't observed. Thankful they had emerged from the dungeon alive, Goraf made a mental note to say a prayer of thankfulness to Rufia once they were in safer circumstances. Rufia, of course, being the goddess of luck in the Raymond Feist world. There still was the matter of escaping the outer perimeter of Sar Sargoth to worry about. And yes, crazy as it is, we can totally go to a tavern and a shop at this point. And also inspect this skull. And note, we're going to have to put something in here, so well, I guess we can sacrifice a few rations. Or maybe not. Well, good thing we were almost out of rope. And I'll have to come back for this later, once we sold a few things, but let's see, commons. Unaware until he stepped into the room that he'd been chilled, Garth was glad to have the solid oaken door of the room closed behind him. Others within seemed likewise content as they chatted among themselves, taking little notice of the new arrivals. And we made 64 gold. Looks like we can totally sell some rations here, I think. The shopkeeper refused the rations. I'm sorry, but I don't really have room for the rations on my shelves at the moment. Of course, I might be able to make room if you bought something from me. Okay, so we can't get rid of our rations. And I skipped through this one. I forgot they have some slightly different bits of dialogue in the taverns in the Northlands, but anyway, it said something about him being a mercenary, and Delekhan pays well, he said, swinging on the contents of the ale cup in his grasp, but I can't say I care much for his drinks. He needs to hire Keshians rather than Quigians if he wants to improve his stock. I don't believe that is what most interests him, Goraf replied. His loss, the man said. His loss. Yeah, the man had the look of a mercenary. Unkempt and unshaven, he certainly was not hired with a group. For in larger companies, the captains required discipline of self as well as discipline of sword, neither characteristics which seemed in evidence of the man's stubbled face. His eyes also seemed to reflect a vacant stupidity, a quality undesirable in any clan chief, but a positive boon for soldiers in the field. And yeah, same line as before. And we bankrupted the gambler. A table was cleaned for them. Sitting down on a splintered bench across from the man, Goraf shared a bit of the mercenary's bread as he listened to a story about a failed love affair with a married woman as the story progressed from a sentimental recounting to a drunken blubber. It became evident the man had no intention of finishing the tale anytime soon, and yes, this story is still with us no matter where we go. And yeah, that guy does not want to talk to us. And another unkempt mercenary. Scavenger's Meat. The shop was littered with cast-off, forgotten trinkets, lost items which few would want or need to reclaim. Here it seemed that tarnish and rust were the things that were prized, the items to which they clung of only secondary value. But hey, we got a powder bag, a tuning fork, fresh ring of Pradger, practice loots, picklocks, rope, and silverthorn anti-venom. Well, we can go ahead and stock up on rope in a bit, I think. They will, however, take our rations. I'll go ahead and buy a fresh thing of rope. Well, we'll need rope eventually. Okay, 20 uses. That should be enough. Yeah. Yeah, no use for poison arrows. Alright, we've got a fair bit of antidote for everybody. So now we should be able to go out and take this note and this emerald. The use of the stone is ancient, dating since the time of the original Mermendamus. It would appear, however, that a crystal, preferably an emerald, is required in conjunction with Nalar's rib to properly invoke the Lord of the Void. And shockingly enough, this is important, and we are going to need this, as we will find out as we come out here. And yeah, note the color palette change, because we're in the icy Northlands. And once we get to the crossroads here, well, yeah, there we go. They were not alone. Owen's pulse quickened as he saw the lone figure approach, but when it became apparent they were not being attacked, he relaxed a bit, squinted slightly in an attempt to see who was about to join them. And yes, here is Delekhan, who is something rather notable as far as characters go, in that she was introduced in the game Betrayal at Krondor, and later was given a fairly important, though minor, role in the later Raymond Feist books. It spoils little to say that she basically becomes ruler of the Northlands after the events of this game, and that she winds up giving Pug, the most powerful wizard in the world, some information that he needs later on. Anyway, her position here, as we will find out, is that she is currently Delekhan's wife / consort, but it's a marriage of convenience and political alliance rather than any affection, and in fact, she is plotting to stab him in the back at her earliest convenience. So, with that having been said, let's see what she has to say to us now. I was beginning to believe that Delekhan had slain you. He will be infuriated that you escaped. You sound eminently pleased at that prospect. Why this charade, Delekhan? You can't believe in Delekhan's activities any more than I, and yet you support his cause. You command a respectable tribe and have almost as much power. Almost? Do you forget who engineered your escape from Sar Sargoth all those months ago? Who do you think directed Delekhan's rats into the snow plains while Okkar's family scrambled to safety? That was my doing. If not for my help, the Six would surely have crushed your tribes from the Greenheart. Were you responsible for... No, I had nothing to do with your escape this time. Whatever you may have done, you have achieved on your own. Your first escape served my purposes, but your continued survival is as nothing to me. It neither threatens nor advances my cause. Then you will help me again? I will consider my efforts an investment against the future of the Northlands, Gorath. They will gain me little now, but perhaps at a later date your help may be useful. I will alert my spies to whatever your needs may be. To be honest, I don't believe you will achieve much beyond your own survival, but even that may prove to be my boon. So we now can ask about Nalar's rib, since we found that note, but we'll go and ask about Delekhan first. You consort with a monster, Lilon. Tell us a way, and we shall murder him in his sleep. Show us a secret passage, and we shall drink his blood, and by the moredhel have their pact of blood. And what shall become of us? Morlaf will then step into his father's place and use our treachery to light the fires under our pursuers. Delekhan must fight this battle, and our kin die with him on foreign soil for futile cause. Only then will the other clans who wait to join him know that we cannot unify under a banner of death. Their failure taught them no lesson after Mermandamus betrayed us in the field, and this shall come to no new conclusion. We want the same things, Gorath, though I intend to claim what you fear. I will take the throne of the nations of the north when Delekhan has fallen to Kingdom Blades. I will lead. I don't know whether I should laugh or weep at that suggestion, Lilon, but I favor you over his bastard Get Morloff. And freedom. Again, I must seek help in the kingdom. Prince Arufa's army must be there to meet Delekhan. It may prove more difficult than you imagine. Delekhan has called for Narab's head. Why should that be? If not for Narab, I would still be loose in the kingdom. I do not know what fires burn in his mind, but they smoke like madness to me. Narab has called on his clan to surround us, though they can be of little threat to us here. The Six will crush them hopelessly, but they can restrict us for a time. The more that Narab plays the fool, the more time it will gain us, though I wish he were doing it elsewhere. Is there no way past his clan? Not unless you may know how to bring down the Dark God's wrath from Nalar's rib. I can't imagine a way until the Six arrive. Well, since she mentioned it, there have been a few occasions I have had to visit Nalar's rib. I forget its location. It lies south of here as the crow flies, a few minutes from the front gates of Sar Sargoth. I have not been there in a long while. So head due south. For what gold does Delekhan do this? There can be nothing gained by attacking a single castle on the frontier of the kingdom. He tells those who rally to him that Mermandus lives, that he is captive within the kingdom, and that he intends to free him from captivity. None saw him die at Sephanon. And what advantage is there in that for Delekhan? Step aside and let Mermandamus retake his place on the throne? I would easier believe you the mistress of death than Delekhan, one who longs for his ancient master. It would seem that there is one among the moredhel who thinks. I too have wondered what he wishes to gain, and I may only conclude that he plots to get something from Mermandamus in exchange for freeing him. He had great powers, greater even than the Six who now work for Delekhan. Perhaps he believes he can learn the secret of our former leader's powers. And the Six. Whence did Delekhan's magicians come? They were spoken of in Harklek before I first left the Northlands. Do they advise? And more. They plan great schemes into the night with him, meetings to which even I am no longer privy. They are the ones who recommended the extermination of your tribe. They speak of the lowborn as if their lives were without value. It is as if they live for the complexities of intrigue. Little else seems to matter to them. That is a big whopping clue as to who the Six are if you have not played, well, if you have not read Raymond Feist's earlier books, because we know from earlier conversation that the Six are not dark elves, and the suggestion is that they were snakemen because they wear black hooded robes, but they don't have the same sibilant tone of speech, so the suggestion is that they're definitely human, but where would there be a group of magicians who would work for the Dark Elves who live for political scheming? I won't spoil it because it'll be revealed shortly enough, but think on that. When they buy their wine, what coins do they bargain? None. They carry only gems, rubies of low quality. They toss them about as if they were as common as seeds. That's another hint. They abide in Sar Sargoth? When they are with Delekhan. At the moment they have gone south with Morlaf to Harlech. I believe they mean to round up others of your tribe who have been reluctant to join Delekhan's throng. And we can say goodbye. So yeah, Lillian, or Lilianon, I keep wanting to say Lillian. She has a very minor role in this game, just giving us the information, but fun little fact about Nalar's rib there. Nalar is the name of the Midkemian god of evil, destruction, chaos, bad things. And I think that this game was the first place where he was actually mentioned by name. He had other titles, the Nameless God, because saying his name or even knowing his name can cause him to observe what you are doing. And he does wind up playing a part in some of the later books. it seemed like he was being set up as the main villain for a bit, but it turned out he was, well, I won't spoil the book story, but suffice it to say, I think this was the first reference to Nalar and what we have to do to invoke his will. And we got ambushed by some enemy that I did not see there. And I think that spell just took out Owen. So I better take out that spellcaster first and hope that Goraf is able to fight 4 soldiers at once. Well, 3 soldiers now. 2 soldiers! Alright, well that was fortunate. Anyway, we're going to have to head south from here. We're going to head south from here to Nalar's Rib to see what we can do. And that is where we shall start next time. We'll see you then.